all our heart, soul, and might, our neighbor as ourselves, and to endure. And there, when you're in a fallen state, people will judge the molester but think they're better than the molester. And I ask, well, why do you think you're better? When I realized it doesn't matter what you think about yourself or how much you have or don't have or how you accomplish things in life or don't. If you have no love, you have nothing.
I just wanted to say that I've been listening to you for a few years now, and when you talk about the illusion of racism and how it's just a divisive tool that the media uses, and it's just good and evil.
Yes.
And that's what we got to focus on. It really has changed my life. My perspective is totally different now. I'm more calm. I'm more peaceful. When you talk about forgiving your mother and letting go of that hate, and it just transforms you. So I just want to thank you for that, and let you know that you really are doing God's work by waking people up with this message.
Amazing, Aaron. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Sure. I can hear the angels in heaven singing right now. They're rejoicing. That's amazing. Stay with the silent prayer. Speak up, don't resent, and doubt every thought. And Aaron, you have not seen anything. Anything. Isn't he Mexican?
Colombian.
He calls himself American.
What is this?
Anchor Baby.
And in this corner, it's the American Anchor Baby.
Daddy's home. That's an offensive term. People find that hurtful.
You mean it's not politically correct? Excuse me. I'll use the word anchor baby.
He's an anchor baby in Canada.
Tell him we still rolling with Trump, too.
Anchor baby, the whole thing sounds horrific. You're just making it sound like immigrants are these horrific, greedy people.
Ustedes pueden aceptar mi negocio o aceptar las consecuencias. Plata o plomo.
So you would be considered white, in my opinion.
You the blackest one in this room,
I think so.
And what happened was his mama got pregnant on the other side of the border, and then a few hours before, just before it was time for him to pop out, she jumped across the border and let him fall on American soil. So he became the anchor baby. They don't call him the anchor baby for nothing. Amazing.
We like this anchor baby, right?
Hello, I'm the American Anchor Baby. How you doing on this fine Monday? Welcome, folks. Appreciate you tuning in. Appreciate you rolling in from Joel's chat there. We're going to get rolling here. I'm out of breath almost. Moving around, jumping around, pressing all the buttons for myself here. But we got it going. And it's a pleasure. How you doing, folks? How was your weekend? How was your weekend? We had a nice flight. We went international. We landed in London Heathrow International. What a landing. What a beautiful landing. Truly was. I deserve a raise after that landing. A totally realistic, with realism on. How you doing, nation state? Jessica, Chris, Internet Manster. How's everybody? Everybody who joined me on the flight. Thank you. We fly on Fridays. We fly high on Fridays. Natural energy. Stop it. And we have fun and we do our thing. So you don't want to miss it when we do that. So you want to subscribe. You want to be hitting the subscribe. You want to be hitting the like button. You're hearing my voice. You're getting hypnotized. I'm just turning on all my tabs here so I can see what y'all are saying. And so that I could tell you that you can call in. 888-775-3773 if you want to jump on the air there and talk with the anchor baby. Easter Sunday, that was nice. Do you not realize I've been hungry since Easter's? Anyways, how you doing, my glizza? Appreciate you being in the chat. What's up, glizzas? Hey, we're glizzed out today on this fine Monday. And there's something I want to talk about, a couple of things here, as I do every day. April Fools. What do you know about April Fools? Fools? You a bunch of fools? What's up, Kevin, Hillary, Thomas, Kale? What's up, Ivana? What's up, cuz? It's a beautiful weekend. What a nice weekend. Nice shows, great shows, amazing shows. Totally amazing shows. April Fools is today, though. Any pranks? Any hoaxes? Anybody gone through any shenanigans? Silliness? How did the hoax day, how did the prankster holiday get mired in all this conspiracy, intrigue, deception, scheme? How did the trickster holiday become so mysterious? So it's almost perfect. It's almost too perfect. It's almost like there really is a trickster god. It's almost like there really is a god of tricks and pranks, and this is his day. Or maybe just the one true God has a sense of humor. I'll let you smoke on that, maybe. How did April Fool's Day start? I'm sorry, I'm laughing at my chat. Eric in my chat is just as well versed in bad movies as me. Chat, I need help. I need help with the movies. But it's true, Eric. Anyways, look, we're talking about April Fools. I want to tell you how it may have come about. Since today is the day of shenanigans, of tomfoolery. The exact origins of the tradition are unclear. Some historians believe that practical jokes date back to the 1500s. Oh, so before 1500, who was the first practical joker? I want to know who was the first Is it the same as the first liar? That's another bad movie I saw. Ricky Gervais. Isn't he the first liar ever? The man who created the first lies. I forgot the name of the movie. But in it, nobody lies. Nobody had invented lies yet, and he was the first one to lie. The first fool. So there were no pranks before the 1500s? I don't know. CBS. I find that hard to believe. What was the first caveman prank? Come on, creative people in the chat. Some people believe April Fool's Day dates back to the Hilaria festivals. Celebrated during classical Roman... Hilaria festivals. The Hilaria festivals, obviously, where they had hilarious festivals full of hilarities and merriments and gaieties. That means like happiness, okay? G-A-I. A gay deity? Gaiety? No. That means the state or quality of being lighthearted or cheerful. The sudden gaiety of children's laughter. So, could it be, like CBS is saying, that this was during the Hilaria Fest? Okay, God, I'm supposed to believe that one? That's a funny one, God. The Hilaria festivals? One theory tying the source of April Fool's Day to Roman times is a hoax. A hoax on the hoax day. In 1983, an Associated Press reporter reached out to Joseph Boskin, a historian at Boston University, to discuss the origins of April Fool's Day. Boskin spun a tall tale to the reporter, assuming it would be fact-checked and revealed as fake. According to the story Boskin made up, a group of jesters convinced Emperor Constantine to make one of them king for a day. The appointed jester declared it would be a day of levity. That's a nice story. It might not be true, though. Well, it wasn't. This historian was lying. He was playing a prank. It was just a little prank. I got an immediate phone call from an editor there who was furious, saying that I had ruined the career of a young reporter. Boskin said in a university post. He said I told a lie. A lie, I asked? I was telling an April Fool's Day story. I found that humorous. Maybe you found that humorous like I did. It was a joke. It was just a little joke. Get wrecked. Get wrecked, journo. We love the journos. We love the journalists, okay? No journalists hate here. We're just having a little fun, okay? We're just having a little fun on the journalist's expense. And, you know, I guess 1983 isn't that long ago. But journalism has been in trouble, apparently, since before I was born. So, I mean, I imagine blaming Boskin earnestly. Like, I wonder if anyone actually did this, but for a moment here, let's consider actually blaming this Joseph Boskin earnestly for the journalist's fate. That's just plainly not true. This is plainly not true. And I think I have a couple of examples, I think. Well, I'll show you that. Turning away from fundamental things. Okay, we'll get to it. Allow me some time here on April Fool's Day to flesh out the show. And I know my callers will give me the same time. So thank you for calling in, 888-775-3773. A little bit of patience, but I appreciate you waiting on hold. I will get to calls. April Fool's Day. You bunch of godless fools. You were fooled into thinking that the beginning of the year was in January. You godless fools. You forgot your roots, your Christianity. And you think January is the new year. I'm messing around. I'm messing around because this morning I was made aware of a notion, of an idea, of a way of thinking, a thought that's going around that I guess has been going around, but just kind of made aware of it right now. The April 1st conspiracy, the New Year conspiracy, which may be mired. No, maybe not mired. It may be amongst some true factual things here. I was made aware of it because of this guy on Twitter, a man, he's a man, a black man, 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓𝒆, breaker of narratives. You may have seen him on Twitter if you peruse the website as of late. Oh, thanks, Lil Nick. Can you switch the screen for us there, Lil Nick? We're going to need a little bit of Twitter action here. 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓𝒆, you may know him. Breaker of narratives. I don't know anything about him. I've seen his posts, and I appreciate his posts. I follow him. He's gone viral lately. I don't know, in the last half a year. He's gone viral and all that. Anyways, that's not so important. I'm just saying that I don't know anything about him, okay? I've just seen his posts, and I appreciate it. My impression, my impression of �𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓𝒆, again, I know nothing about it. I have no personal problem with him. But I do get this impression, and you know how impressions are, but I get this impression that he's, every now and then he posts these, shall I use a phrase here? And we love the conspiracy theorists, but a little conspiratarded kind of posting sometimes. It's just my impression. But he posted this tweet. He posted a post on Twitter that is now, anyways, we're not doing that. He posted this about New Year's. April 1st was the original New Year's Day. The people that continued to recognize it as New Year's were called fools, similar to the title conspiracy theorists. And also, Jesus was born on April the 1st, apparently, according to �𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓𝒆. But okay, he's saying it's, the new year was in April. And I read something about that. I was reading about that. It seems it may be true that France, at least according to CBS, back in the day, you know, in the before times, before pranks ever even existed, maybe, allegedly, that France may have changed the Gregorian calendar or whatever and made January the beginning of the year. And so people who were caught celebrating in April were just a bunch of fools. Nothing, I'm reading the rest of this tweet here. Nothing is born in the dead of winter. The year starts in the spring. That is why the earth is reborn during the spring. Why would we celebrate a new year during death? That's why majority of the gym memberships on New Year's don't make it to the spring. December 25th was originally Saturnalia, and Easter was originally, I don't know how to pronounce that, but we're going to say Easter, Eostre, god of fertility, which is why people had eggs conceive. So they could sacrifice the babies for Saturn in December, 9 months later. Christ is king. Know your roots, because the powers that be does. Or, well, he writes, the powers the be does. 𒒏🊄💄💧, again, I'm having fun. I'm messing around. I don't know much about 𒒏🊄💄💧 here. Definitely don't have any problems with him. I like the conversations he starts on Twitter. Pretty interesting, I gotta say. But I'm focused on something here. Besides this whole Jesus was actually born April, New Year's, and all that. And I like that he brings attention to the title of conspiracy theorist. See, I like Dom. I appreciate that. You know, it's another one of these phrases that stops conversation. Oh, you're a conspiracy. Oh, you're a racist. Oh, these are all these isms, these words that people use to shut down conversation, speech. And so a lot of people who are called that, conspiracy theorists, are primed. They're primed and ready. They're primed and ready to see the world's lying to me, man. So I appreciate him pointing that out. That being said, he talks about spring and the year's actually starting when it actually starts, and how the earth, it's reborn during the spring, and we celebrate the new year during the death, during winter when things are dead. And he makes this point, that's why majority of gym memberships on New Year's don't make it to the spring. I gotta say something here, Dom, and you've been robbed of the true beginning of the year. See, that's what you don't understand. You've been robbed. That's why your gym membership was canceled, because you're not going to make it, because you're starting in the middle. So the end is coming. Yeah, is that what I'm supposed to understand, 𒒏🊄💄💧, from that phrase, from that statement? Because I got to say, we got to be serious about certain things. This is for myself. This is for everybody. But we got to be serious about certain things. And I don't know where Dom is coming from and all that, and people who are into this certain things and all that. I don't know him at all. I don't know if he's being serious, if people are having a laugh about these topics, about these sorts of things, or if they're just saying things without really knowing, and they don't really necessarily totally mean it, but you know, they feel like they're in a ballpark somewhere. Maybe that sounds like my show a little bit. Don't worry, this is reflecting too. I'm reflecting, okay? But I'm pointing out how this is an important moment of custodianship. This is really less about Dom, and this is more about all of us. For those that may come after us, you know what I mean? Custodianship. Someone might read that and think that that really is the reason why they canceled their gym membership. Or what's the placeholder for canceling gym membership? What I think Dom's getting at is giving up. Why do we give up? Why are people giving up and break resolutions? You know, someone might read that and think, oh, it's because I was lied to. I was robbed of the beginning of the year. And Dom, you're kind of sounding like these people who talk mad-ish about Christmas. Or should I say Ishtar? Isn't that the name of the... They say Easter is supposed to actually be Ishtar, which is some goddess. And so we're actually celebrating a pagan holiday and all that. don't follow, don't shack up with those people because those people are also teamed up, whether they know it or not, sometimes willingly, unwittingly. They're teamed up with the America haters. They want to take down Santa. Imagine wanting to take down Santa because you read something, because some person told you that that's the wrong date and all that. You know what I mean? It seems like it's not helping because what we're going through is real. Look, we're in a spiritual battle. I don't know how to tell you this without maybe repeating some words, but look, the devil wants us, it really wants us to keep us spinning our wheels in the mud, getting nowhere. Like, don't you notice that? Have you noticed that in our lives? Our minds, the devil wants us in a circle, okay, doing the same things. And the same thing we're doing here is that one little sentence. It's that one sentence in that tweet there. That's why the majority of gym memberships on New Year's don't make it to the spring. It's that one sentence right there. That's what we keep doing. We keep playing this game with the thoughts, with the mind. We keep calling things what they're not. That's something we keep doing. And we're playing this game. We're blaming, the blame game. The majority of gym memberships. This is kind of an important moment. I may be exaggerating it for this show, but I hope you see that this is not about Dom, and that the exaggeration is for a point here, I guess. So where was I? April 1st. Yeah, we're in a spiritual battle. Why do we do the things that we don't want to do? We'll get to that. I see your calls, 888-775-3773. But there's already a grand conspiracy being played, the grandest conspiracy of all time. It started in the beginning of time when Satan said that he was going to get us, I heard. You know what I mean? And he said that he's going to copy God and try and trick us all. Conspiracy, the grandest conspiracy in our minds. We'll get to that. Because there's this conspiracy bill in Tennessee. The Republicans are stopping chemtrails. You know, this is actually happening. Tennessee Republicans are dealing with chemtrails. And it's not exactly chemtrails. That's a little bit unfair characterization that the media is doing. But there's a conspiracy bill going around. It's getting passed. And there's some interesting details here. Kind of fits with the whole theme so far. But why not take a call here? Because I got a call here. I got Frederick out of Los Angeles, and I want to show some love to the callers. Appreciate your call, sir. You're on the air.
Hey, how's it going? Good afternoon, Nick.
All is well, sir.
All right. I like the way you digging into, different theories and things. You know what I'm saying? Being a critical thinker.
Big time. We're
got your eyes open. I've been studying the etymology of words, the meanings and the roots and where they come from.
Mm-hmm.
You know what etymology is?
Yeah, that's right. Etymology, where they come from. I'm following.
Fact. And the whole word belief.
The word itself, belief. The word belief itself? Okay, I'm following. My bad. Go ahead.
So the letter F came later in the English language.
You said F?
And it was
or S?
F. F as in Frederick.
Following. Thank you.
And belief was derived from belie, being in a lie where you don't look or think nowhere else. You know it's a lie, but you live it and you be in the lie. So that's where belief comes from. And the words like November and December and October, if you do the etymology, the months don't match the names.
Help me understand.
October means 8.
Mm-hmm.
It's in the 10th. It's the 10th month, right? Deca means
December,
10.
right.
It's the 12th month. You know what I'm saying? Sept. You know what I'm saying?
I'm following. Yeah, those from what I remember in some schooling or whatever, those prefixes do mean like a number sometimes. Could it possibly mean something else? Could those prefixes mean something else?
You gotta look at the date when they was messing with that calendar, and it all come together for you.
What will come together?
I mean, look, it's all Greek. The Greco-Roman Catholic Church assembled these belief systems and purposely created the Dark Ages, so you'll be stuck in this lie. I mean, and it's really got everybody in
what
the
lie?
Cultures of Christianity, of this man named Jesus ever walking the earth. Yeah. And then, cause the Passover, I used to tell you about how the sun.
Do you doubt that?
And rise in December.
Say again. Go ahead.
How the sun sets for 3 days in December. I told you about the meaning of Christmas, on how everything was astrological. You know what I'm saying? It was revolved around the 12, zodiac signs in the
What
sky.
revolved around the 12?
The calendar.
Okay. I think I'm following. I mean, so far I've gathered. I mean, you're describing how people ordered the dates and calendars at one time. If I may just summarize for my own. You
are so right.
It's just for my purposes. So no, I don't get confused here. But so far, I gather you're saying that you described the ways that man has ordered their calendars and all that. But you're saying it changed somewhere along the way. And you're saying this change points to some truth, which you're mysteriously alluding to, but it is that we've been lied to, that Christianity's a lie. And is that the lie that I'm going to discover if I figure out what they did with the dates and the months?
I mean, it's part
I'm just trying to get
it's
you
part of
straight.
it.
I'm just trying to get you straight and clear, if that's what you're trying to say.
I mean, like the fable of Jesus was not to put a monopoly on religion. It was never supposed. It was to control the masses and to get rich off of the masses with a lie. And it's been working ever since. So that's why they put 10% and slave owners all in the Bible and say it's the word of God, when truly it's never been the word of God.
That may all be true, man. That's not what I was. You said you're like, man, it's cool. You're discovering, seeing the truth of lies. I'm not talking about any of that. I'm not talking about anything. I'm not talking about anything you're talking about. But you might be true what you're saying. I don't know. I really don't know.
Yeah. It's all intellectual. But if you study the roots of words and where they came from, back in Hebrew, they didn't have vowels. The Greeks created.
Why does that matter, though? It matters because it's supposed to undo that history. Yeah, but can you get to it? Help us out here.
I'm telling you,
break it open for real.
The white folks guessed at the meaning of words by adding vowels into the Kemet language that had no vowels. If you had SPN and you added 2 O's, now you got spoon, or I, now you got spin. And this is how they created the Bible. So you cannot use the English language to decipher the text in any way. So
let's assume for a moment. Let's assume for a moment that any of what you said is true. Let's assume for a moment. Let's do some assumption games for a second here. Play with me for a second here, Frederick. I think you might find this fun.
Yes.
Let's assume that the months were moved around, and this points to a grander lie that the Vatican and Christianity put on the world. Okay, and then all this happened. I don't know, like hundreds of years ago, right? Thousands of years ago.
Right.
And that all happened, and they lied to us, and this happened, and then they said Easter, which is Ishtar. Okay, that all happened. Let's assume that all happened. Right. Now we're here today, and let's pick out an average American male in America. How does all that affect him?
Because we're about to go to war, and the dollar's about to be crippled due to BRICS coming out with their money. BRICS is rolling out their currency, and all this lie that we've been leaving and protecting these people has got everybody in America broke. I got to go, Nick, but y'all have fun with this.
Okay, take care, Frederick. Thanks for calling. Appreciate it. Call me again.
No problem. Right.
But that doesn't really, I hope that's clear to all of you. That doesn't really answer my question. I understand. I'm not playing silly or like I don't understand him. People reached out to me like I'm playing dumb with Frederick or something. I actually understood him here, but it's not answering the question. He's saying that we're going to go to war because of BRICS because everyone's believing this lie of Christianity. brainwashed in this grand lie that the Christian church has kept going. I don't know what country you're living in, Frederick. I don't know what Christian brainwashed country you're living in. That's not the America I see. But anyways. 888-775-3773. Conspiratarded. And I'm not calling anyone that specifically. I'm just saying that. I was saying this a couple months ago. I forget exactly when, but I was saying this a while ago about conspiracy theorists and people who just turn to that. And I already said at the beginning of the show that they've been maligned as well. And when people use the word, use that phrase, they'll call someone that to shut down conversation. Conspiracy theorist. It's like calling someone racist. But at the same time, conspiracy theorists are cowards. They don't really want to talk about the real issue. They don't really want to talk. Think about this. Conspiracy theorists are the same as blamers. They blame everything else for the situation. And those people don't really want to deal with the issue that they're talking about. They don't really want to deal with issues. Anyways, I mentioned this before my call with Frederick. There's something going on in Tennessee. You might find this somewhat interesting. And then I'll get to calls. Tennessee Republicans pass anti-chemtrail bill. This is from Revolver, okay? Speaking of conspiracy theories, you know, people ask about the chemtrails I have engaged when I do the Friday shows. You know, we're flying the virtual planes. We're doing Nick Stream Fridays, and we're having fun. We're taking the calls, and then you look at your screen and you see that the plane we're flying has two big contrails or chemtrails, depends who you ask, streaming out of the plane. Some say there's a scientific explanation for those trails behind the planes. Some say they're spraying stuff. They're spraying stuff in the air. And they'll point to people who believe they're spraying stuff in the air for whatever reasons, not always good, will point to real world technology like cloud seeding and other things. Research, and I believe even past research, I believe actual implementation of technology that is literally this, is spraying stuff in the air to affect the weather. That's something you could look up. So that being said, a little intro, I guess, on chemtrails. Tennessee state GOP legislators are passing a bill to ban chemtrails. That's what Revolver writes it as. SB 2691 is being called a conspiracy theory bill by the local media. It's not about chemtrails, though. It's about real-life plans considered by the Biden administration to spray metal into the air to block climate change. It's called solar radiation modification. I know that inner alarm bells go off for especially Republicans, conservatives, when they read something like that. Man trying to play God again. It doesn't always end up well. And it's just not good. It's just not good. Your inner alarm bells are going off and you're saying, no, stop it. Stop it right now. SRM is the emission of reflective aerosols into the upper atmosphere to reflect sunlight and cool the planet. It sounds pretty crazy, right? No SRM experiments have been conducted, but what we do know about SRM is that its effects would be global. The aerosols would remain suspended in the atmosphere for years. So you could see, even in just theory, it's something that legislators and even the public not worry about, but should it affects you, so you should consider it. You see what I'm saying here? Something to consider. That being said, though, I find this all quite interesting. I'm reading the bill, and I'm getting this from Revolver, too. I'm getting it from this very same article from Revolver. How Revolver shares some of my same, not concerns, but look, they point how the language in the bill paints a broad stroke. The Republicans pushing this bill forward don't even talk about cloud seeding, stratospheric aerosol injection. These are all real technologies. You got to understand why this is important, because the Republicans say the same thing about the Democrats. They say, You guys want to talk about gun control. You don't know anything about guns. You call it you call it a clip. Since when does a gun have a clip? And it's a fair argument the Republicans make, by the way. These people want to make gun laws. They're calling things assault rifles, and they don't even know what they're talking about. Demonizing things they know nothing about. And I'm not really going devil's avocado with this, like, hey, Republicans, if the Democrats do that to you, you should reflect. That's just a general prescription for all people, like always be reflecting. Always be reflecting. Always be looking at yourself. I'm just simply pointing out how conspiratards don't really want to fix things, okay? That's really all I'm pointing out. And you can see how they actually will push people away. It's an interesting bill, I'm sure. And I'm sure their intentions are the same intentions that probably people in my chat would have. Hey, we don't want the government playing God and spraying stuff in the air. But it was just an interesting thing that Revolver pointed out, in my opinion. I just like that they were pointing that out because they point out how it could also affect, for example, it could negatively affect farmers. We got more and more people. Wouldn't you want to be able to affect rain? That's not necessarily a bad thing. Look, I'm just pointing out, I really wanted to point out how the language in this bill, they really just sound like Democrats in their ignorance. And I started this off talking about 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓𝒆𝒂𝒎 and Easter and how, we can't be conspiratarded all the time. No, the gym memberships aren't being canceled because we're starting in the middle of the year and we were lied to. The conspiracy's in the mind. And if you notice, we can't do the things we want to do. Like, how can it be that I want to drop morals, but I can't? This past week, Jesse asked us, tasked us with a bit of homework here on dropping our morals. And at the beginning there, I was like, how the heck do I do that? But upon thinking about it a little bit, I realized that simply means to stop seeing, every situation you're in, stop seeing my behaviors and things I do and the situations that I'm in as good or bad. And I'm like, okay, right on. Once I got that, I'm like, let me get to it right away. Put me in, coach. Let me start doing that right now. And the second, okay, let me do that right now. The moment I did, tensions go away. Tensions that I didn't notice ease. And I'm not judging. There's nothing to judge. There's nothing good or bad. The tension's gone. I'm not judging. But then a moment later, in a whirlwind, I'll forget that there's good and bad. I'll forget that there is no good and bad. Or I'll forget that I'm doing that. And I'll call something good or bad. And the tensions come back and the feelings come back. How is it that I want to drop morals, but a whole week I battled with it? Wouldn't I just be able to drop it? How can it be that I want to doubt my thoughts, but I can't all the time? But I want to. Look, conspiratards. I'm not talking about people who talk about conspiracy theories because they can be normal. But I'm talking about people who are gone. They want to blame the conspiratarded. How about, why don't you put all your energy in discovering this conspiracy? This is a way juicier, spicier, and crazier conspiracy than anything you're into. How can it be that you don't do the things that you want to do? Explain that to me. And I understand. Look, I understand that there's people who are calling in Jesse's show that I relate to. They're saying, how can I believe? I want to doubt all thoughts, Jesse, but I can't. All of them. And it must be because I'm intellectual. And it must mean that I'm this or that. If you really, and I sincerely think some of those callers really did see this the way that I saw it, that thoughts are lies. If you think that, if you at least even halfway believe that, and you are feeling anything at all, ever, about anything, why are you making conclusions about anything? You see what I'm saying here? Like, let's say you're looking at your life and you actually something about believing thoughts speaks to you. Maybe you even completely believe it. But then then you're feeling things in life and you make conclusions about those feelings. But I thought you're letting go of the gift that you were given. You saw that thoughts were lies, or at least something about that's true. So why make conclusions about anything if you're feeling stuff? Stick with that first thing and then maybe discover onwards from there. Let's not do that, folks. Let's not conclude anything about our lives if we're feeling anything. Okay? Just keeping it simple. If we're feeling anything ever, watch yourself because your mind is about to give you a conclusion. Don't do it, is all I'm saying. That's a conspiracy you want to break open, conspiratards. You know what I'm saying? Get in there. That's the one you want to discover. I'm trying to discover that. And I notice I'm making the same mistakes. And it's only one mistake, believing a thought. I know there was callers on Jesse's show calling themselves intellectual and stuff. But the way they spoke about thoughts and all that, someone who didn't have their eyes open at least somewhat wouldn't be able to say those things. So if you're hearing me, you're believing thoughts. You're calling yourself like something I was considering the other day. I'm like, what is holding me back from doubting every thought? And I was making conclusions. I was feeling things about that. Like, why can't I? And I was making conclusions. And the conclusions were, I'm an intellectual. I just haven't really seen it. But I'm looking at this mouse in my hand and it's white. And I look at my thoughts sometimes and I see them as lies. And it's as simple as seeing this mouse as white. I'll look at my thoughts and sometimes I can see completely they are lies. And if I can see those thoughts as lies that simply, it must be that the only thing holding me back from seeing all the other thoughts is just thoughts. Don't you see? Anyways, it should be, and I say should because this is for me to learn, reflect. It should be as simple as just seeing something. So if you saw it once, don't unsee it by believing thoughts, okay? Anyways, I hope you understand me a little bit. Because I'm doing this to myself, if you're understanding me. I saw that I have anger and it's evil. And that's it. That's beautiful. That's it. The thoughts coming after are just trying to keep you from that. And don't you see in that moment, you see that the conspiracy goes even deeper. Who's trying to keep me from this? There is a force literally trying to keep you from it. So it goes deep, the conspiracy. And there's callers and there's people who watch Jesse and all that, and they want to drop all thoughts. And I understand all of you too, I think. Because I think what some people are doing is they're looking at their lives and they're hearing Jesse say things like, when you forgive, the spirit of good takes over. It takes over, and you can't do wrong. And then there are people who hear that and they're examining their lives, and I think they really want that, and so they think that it's not that, and they conclude things. Stop with the conclusions. You already got a little bit of truth and light when you saw that thoughts were lies, when you saw that you had anger and that it's evil. That's not happening for no reason. Okay. That's it. I don't know. I'm bloviating at this point. Hopefully you understand me. Let's at least do this. Let's at least do that, right? Let's at least work on the little things. And here's one thing you could do. If you feel anything, don't conclude anything. Anyways, 888-775-3773. We got Lawrence out of Florida. Appreciate it. You're on the air.
Yeah, can you hear me?
I hear you just fine. Thank you, sir. You're coming in clear, Lawrence. Go ahead. Oh, maybe you're not coming in clear, Lawrence. You're not coming in.
Can you hear me? No, it's Lawrence. Hello. It's Lawrence, and I'm out of California.
My bad. I got Florida here.
No
we got Lawrence out
okay.
of California. You're on the air.
California. I'm down here on business. I live in Idaho. I got a question for you. Are you against those that speak out against the practicing of Christmas or Easter? Are you?
No, I'm not against them.
Well, not so much as against. See, the conspiracy
I just
theory,
like pointing certain things out. My apologies, Lawrence. Repeat what you said.
Theory.
I think we're on a bit of a delay.
No problem. I think I don't know what it is, but the conspiracy theory, I understand with the chemtrail. God would not allow anything to affect his creation. He's in control of everything in that aspect, but he gives us freedom of choice. And then when you're looking at Santa Claus, or Christmas, in numerous books of the Bible, it comes out against the practicing of certain traditions that we celebrate in Christmas, as in the Christmas tree. Don't adorn it with gold and silver. It's used in pagan rituals. It was a German ritual, the season of Festivus. And it was with the evergreen tree, which we use. Now, it's also, if you look at the day Jesus was born, was not the day that we give. Constantine, he was the Roman emperor. He is the one that merged them both. Now, why would he do such a thing? It's to attack the belief. If we turn around and believe in things outside of what Christianity is, as a Christian that I speak with, meaning it's not conspiracy unless you look at it as not being of Satan. If it's evil and of evil nature, used to try to direct people away from God, that's not a conspiracy. And otherwise, everything would be a conspiracy. Christians against Mormonism would be a conspiracy. Yeah. It's just two beliefs, one against another.
No, I'm following. It seems like I'm following.
Try to direct us out always.
I'm following. It seems like. I'm sorry, Lawrence. Go ahead. You were saying about Christmas.
When children wake up in the morning, do they think of Jesus dying on the cross, or do they think of the present?
Presents.
Do they think of? Are they ever happy with what they have, or are they coveting what another person has?
And why do you think that is?
Why does Santa Claus love one person more than another when one person gets a used bike for Christmas, because that's all the father can give as a Christmas present from Santa Claus, and the other one is a $3,000 bike, $7,000 bike?
And why do you think that is?
It's all about because we're.
Why do you think the kids? Why do you think the kids are? You think
we're breaking it down? We're lying to our children. We're teaching our children it's okay to lie. Look at our children now. How we've taken prayer out of school. Now we have God not protecting the schools, and we have shootings in schools. We've taken God out of marriage, and now we have divorce off the chart. We've taken God away from fathers, and they're not fathers anymore. We've taken God away from women, and they're not good women. We've taken God about everything. We've taken God out of the bedroom between two lovers, and we've made it everything we've done. Everything.
Yeah, upside down. I mean, it's kind of interesting what you're saying, Lawrence.
That's where. See, that's not conspiracy.
It's pretty interesting what you're saying, Lawrence. I gotta say. And I think you're getting at something deeper here. That's true. But let me ask, Lawrence. So you stopped lying about Christmas, for example?
You don't lie about it. You tell them what it is.
Exactly. And so you stopped. You undid this. You stopped those lies about the tree and all that.
Stop it all. I don't practice that. I don't put.
Because you were saying we're lying to the kids.
If I need a jacket in October, I don't need to wait until December to get a jacket, and I don't need another time for the life of me.
Because if I'm following you, Because if I'm following you, you're saying that the kids, you're putting it all together. The lies that we're telling children, it's affecting them, and that's why they think they need more. And those lies are connected to the lies we say during Christmas, which you've stopped saying, correct?
I stopped saying, and then I come out.
Have you stopped lying? So you don't lie anymore?
No, that's the beautiful thing. See, the sin is not in us. The sin is in us of the temptation to do something. The sin is if we choose to do it. We know better to lie.
So do you lie?
Did you have a cookie when we're 7? Do I lie?
Yeah.
I'm going to be straight with you here. If I come out and say something like that, it would not be knowingly lying per se. I would do it out of habit.
So those lies.
My habits have gotten less and less to where I don't lie because I'd rather not.
Right on.
Why do I need to
so
lie
those
when
lies
I'm gonna
that
have to get caught?
Right on, Lawrence. So those lies that you do sometimes that you've lessened over time and all that, but those lies that still do, are those lies affecting children negatively the same way as the lies of Christmas?
No.
And why not?
They're different. They're where I don't want to be held accountable sometimes if I make a mistake with a customer and I come out to try to defend myself. When I come out to try to defend myself, then I catch myself and say, I'm not being straight here. And if I punish myself that way, I don't do it again, so I don't get myself caught with my customers.
And that's
I make sure.
Sorry, my bad. Go ahead. My bad.
Go ahead. No, you speak.
It's my apologies, Lawrence. I keep cutting you off there. I think it might be a delay. I wanted to ask you, that makes sense, man. Yeah, that seems like a moment to reflect. But listen, isn't that the same kind of lying, though? How are they different kinds of lies?
Because it's more of a habitual lie and another one of knowingly lie. See,
don't parents habitually lie? Don't parents habitually lie? Not true. Even though they don't mean it, they'll do it out of habit. They don't mean it, but parents will.
It out of habit,
right, and they don't mean it. But those same habitual lies, don't they affect the children negatively in the same way the Christmas lies do? Those habitual lies that they don't mean?
A lie, there's no sin above another. So
exactly.
It's the point about it is to make sure you stand towards it and tell your kids what you did wrong.
This is the part that interests me.
They understand that we can do wrong as well, but come out and say it and don't just live it. Don't live the lie and teach your children it's okay to lie. And then when we do it, they call us hypocrites.
Well, see, this is the part that interests me of this conversation. You asked me if I was against the people talking about Easter and Christmas in that way, and I'm really not. I'm not against them, and I think they bring.
That's not what I was meaning.
And thank you. And I know you didn't mean that. I just want to say this. If I may, Lawrence, just finish what I was saying here.
Go ahead.
About what you're saying, I'm not against the people that are saying what you're saying. In fact, it seems like they bring in some interesting facts. And the conspiracy doesn't lie in some of these facts. And I don't know them personally, so I can't verify them. But, that the Muslims are against Christians is not a conspiracy. That's just, you know what I mean? That being the conspiracy lies in the conspiracy lies in the possibility that this was all planned and even government planned to undo Christianity. That even may be true.
That's conspiracy. That could also be.
That's the conspiracy, evil. But even that may be true. But that's what I'm calling conspiracy. That being said, Lawrence, the part that interests me is how the people that I don't know if you noticed this, Lawrence. The Christians are focused on calling out the lies of Christianity, but they still have the same sin in them that is hurting their children. They're trying to protect.
Because it's not just.
But don't you see that stopping Christmas traditions isn't going to stop what you're talking about?
Stop it! No. It's to understand where we're coming from. When I speak with people, I go from all different areas. I hit in everything. I ask a man. I say, do you believe in faithful? Are you married? He goes, yeah. And I said, are you faithful to your wife? And he said, yes. And I said, why can't you remain faithful to God? If God said, if you love me, you'll keep my commandments. You will keep them. You won't try. He says, well, sin is the temptation is in us. Mm-hmm. He gave us the choice to do it. When God spoke to Lot and said, don't look back, what did Lot's wife do? Look back. She desired already. She had the temptation in her. But he knew she was going to look back. He said, don't. That's the sin. I ask, when you go to the beach with your wife and she gets sick, do you go to the beach by yourself?
That's a sin, you say?
Men don't want to do that. Oh, some say, yeah. Well, I said, because why would you do that? Men don't want to do that. I've had one of my.
But why do you call it a sin?
Managers. What's that?
But why do you call it a sin?
Because it's the sin to choose. It's a choice. When we act upon something, knowingly, we choose to sin. We know.
But I thought you said you had habitual things happening to you.
Let you know things, huh?
But I thought you said you had habitual things happening to you.
No.
Why don't you just choose to not do the habitual things?
If you do a habitual, when people sin constantly, they sin more. It becomes more and more of a habit, like cigarette smoking. You end up smoking more and more. You 3-4 packs. When you choose to catch yourself, when you choose to be honest, when you choose to look at yourself, you said this not long ago. You said it's looking back at you, reflect back at you. I'm divorced. I sued for it, but I'm divorced. I reflect back at me. I don't blame my ex. I blame me for what I've done wrong. I'm 100% of the 50 to the 99% wrong that I've done. I've done more than half. I've done 50 or more, but I'm going to take care of me. Otherwise, I keep living my mistakes.
Yeah.
I keep living the sin.
Yeah.
I keep lying. So if I hold myself accountable for the lie, now picture when you're driving and you're speeding to get to work, that's a sin. I don't care what anybody says, because you're risking another life and you knowingly are doing it. Then that's a sin. The same, and no sin is above another. When I cuss, I'm ex-military. Sometimes it comes out when I hit my finger or hurt. I'm like, I say some words. I'm like, okay, that's wrong. You don't want to say it around a lady who's got children or anybody else.
Lawrence, may I cut in here? Because I'm totally following, man. And can I point out what I find so interesting about what you're saying?
Go right ahead. You can point out anything.
What you're saying here, you seem to have it sounds to me like you sincerely have like a real, and it just sounds to me like you can see that there's something in you. You can see that there's this, like the way you're describing sin, it sounds to me like you see it as on one hand, it sounds like you see it like this thing in you and that it lives in you. And then on the other hand, you talk about taking accountability. So, because everything you're saying, it connects with me. Like I felt everything you're talking about. Like I totally understand you. But help me understand the conclusion you're making here, because you're saying at the same time this thing lives in you, but at the same time you have to take accountability for it. But help me understand.
The temptation. Look at this. Watch.
Do you do things that you don't mean to do?
I do, like Christmas. Picture Christmas.
Okay, go ahead.
Let's just get into the Christmas part, because you brought it, that or Easter, and you start seeing the joy that comes out of it sometimes, right? And you start saying, "Oh, but if let's say I dated and she wants." See, that's where my I can't settle. And I've met people, I just can't. I can't, because I have my belief. Yet I'm tempted on not sticking by my belief and allowing that back in.
Right. I totally understand. But
that's like dog poop
I'm
on
totally
ice
understanding, man.
cream.
So wait, you don't have a
Jesus.
choice then, is what you're saying.
I have a choice. I can allow myself to allow the evil back in,
but wait,
to enjoy the flavor of having something that's going to bring evil back into me. And the more I enjoy it, I can get you to eat dog poop. You know how I do that? I get ice cream, your favorite ice cream, if you like ice cream. And I add a little bit of dog poop, and I put fragrance enhancer, and I put flavonoids. And every day I'll take a little bit of the fragrance enhancers and flavonoids out and add a little more dog food. Pretty soon, you're going to be chasing dogs around looking for your frozen next meal.
That is scary.
Well, you go look at people in other countries.
But Lawrence,
cockroaches, monkey brains that are live, and all. It's how we're raised, but it's how we're trained.
I think you're making sense, man. Like at the same time, you're describing an insight into how our habits are formed, and they really are over time. You're describing in that situation, right? But you're just so in that situation, it's like we don't have control. But then at the same time,
have control.
we do have control.
We have freedom of choice. But see, the freedom of choice, the more we do it, like I said, the more we smoke, the more we smoke. The more I cuss, the more I cuss. The more evil the more evil I become.
There's some sense in what you're saying here. In that,
the more I hold myself accountable, the more I don't do it.
Evil runs through the same channels and makes them deeper, like a river. You know, evil.
See, now you take a parent, and if the parent raises their children to believe in the lie becomes the belief.
Right on, Lawrence. Hey, anything else you want to say before we move the wheels here?
Bottom line, the whole point is it's not a conspiracy theory when you put spiritualism or your belief or your, let's say, Christianity against another faith. That's just one faith speaking out against another. It's when you put government control as having to control the people and you take God out of it.
Thank you, Lawrence. So do we have choices? Do we have free will or no?
You have free will. We have free will to vote for anything, but God's still in control of the world.
Thank you, Lawrence. Appreciate your call, man. Call me again on this.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Fascinating. Thank you. Fascinating. Hope you found that interesting somewhat. Yeah. I found it interesting because I was unsure what he meant. You know how my mind was telling me, he's intellectualizing stuff and he thinks we have choices and sin is this. And that's what my mind was telling me, but that's why you can't just go with that. There's you know what I'm saying here? Maybe you saw what I saw. You know, you do things over and over again. you get deeper into it. Okay? I'm trying to break this down for my listeners who, you know, they've learned all the JLP language. And I'm trying to break this down a little bit because he's saying the things we choose to do, we get deeper into them. But we don't have choice. Nick, Jesse already told us we don't have choice. But you would miss it that he's not wrong about that. Evil goes through these same channels like a river, carving out channels in you and causing water to run the same way every time. Do you understand what I'm saying here? That's why you act the same in every situation. That's why you react the same way. You have the same fears and the same things keep coming up. That being said, I found the conversation interesting because there's something missing there, right? Because I don't want to be wrong and I don't want to believe the lies and all that. And so I've just thought about this a lot and I don't quite know, but some things I've pondered on this is, well, maybe it seems like we have maybe one choice, the only choice. Everything else is an illusion. But we have maybe one choice, which is to endure, or at least try to endure. And in that endurance, you get a little bit more room between you and evil. And you might not even always do that very well. And this endurance is what kind of gets you farther from those channels that those habits that my caller Lawrence was talking about. So there's something there. You see what I'm saying here? That's how you get all angry people are habitual people. All angry people have biases. They have these channels and they have these blind spots. And they're usually drawn along racial lines, along things we can see. Very shallow things, if you think about it. Quite shallow. Anyways. All angry people are this way. Fascinating. No need for... Look, let's get to another call. Josh. Hold up. I got Josh out of Georgia. You're on the air, sir.
Hey, what's up, man?
All is well, sir. Appreciate your call.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that was last call. That was kind of exactly the. I mean, I see what you're talking about. I have the habitual habits that keep coming up. I see the anger in me, and the thoughts definitely. I don't know. I thought, I was thinking just what you were thinking, that this guy thinks we have free will, so he's automatically wrong, and the thoughts would tell me to write him off. But I also see where he was coming from too, because it's like. And
where was he coming from?
I liked his example of, I guess, with the dog poop example, where it's like the sin builds on you a little bit, but.
And you thought, and you thought that's where did you think that's the value? Did you think that's where I saw the value in his statement?
I don't know. Maybe you saw it differently than me.
Yeah. So
I noticed that there's something in my head wanted me to write him off immediately.
Yeah.
Because I've been, I'm into the bond lingo a little bit, and I want to stick. I don't want to say that I'm intellectualizing it, because that could be a lie as well. But I just want to give it time.
So what'd you get out of What'd you get out of Lawrence's call, if you could?
I got that it seemed to me that he may be overthinking it, but he means well.
I think so.
And that's what I see that in myself, that I do that too. Oh, go ahead.
Big time, man.
Yeah. I see that. I do that same thing too. Like we were just talking about the. I didn't think the devil would tell me that I'm intellectualizing, because I thought the intellect is where the devil lives.
Yeah.
So if I'm out of the intellect.
Yeah.
Then but the devil will tell you that.
Man, I literally went through the same thing, Josh. I literally went through the same thing. I'm like, whoa, I didn't know that he could lie about that too. He can lie about everything, man. And
about everything.
And he can even lie about making you look. And this is for the people in the chat and everybody who you know, they heard all thoughts are lies and they believe it. That anger's evil. Yeah. He can even make you think that's a lie in a sense.
Right.
By saying, oh, you're just intellectualizing. Oh, that thing, that true thing you saw, that thing you saw with your spiritual eyes that you have anger, that's a lie.
That was just a thought.
That was just a thought. He could do that too.
Yeah, that was, yeah. Right.
You saw that with your spiritual eyes, man.
Right.
Anyways.
I'm still a little confused about it, but.
About what?
But you know what? I mean, about, whether I'm seeing it or whether it's a thought.
Seeing what?
Whether I know that all thoughts are lies. I agree with it, but I still see myself believing thoughts and doing exactly what the thoughts want me to do. So do it. I don't want to believe the thoughts.
Yeah. Totally.
But
you do what they tell you to do.
I see myself doing it. Huh?
And what does a person who does when someone does what their thoughts tell them, what are they doing?
They're believing the thoughts, right?
What is someone who does what their thoughts tell them to do? What are they doing?
Worshiping the devil, believing their thoughts, believing the lie.
You may not see what I'm doing right now, but I'm doing a Jesse. I'm putting my arms side to side like a plane. I don't know what he means. I don't know what he means when he does that, but I just suddenly got the urge to do that when you said that.
Oh, okay.
It's a lie. It's a thought, man.
Yeah. So it's deeper than what I thought.
Yeah.
But you know,
I gotta say, man, I think that's sincerely what you're going through, and you only know for real, only you know. But I relate to you a lot. I do the same thing. I'm like you, man. I see myself in everybody and everything. I'm looking around in the world. I'm always like, man, I'm like that guy. Man, this guy's so messed up. I'm just like him. Man, that guy. Yeah. I bet you're just like me, huh?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I bet you do the exact same thing.
That's what I see when I see y'all's callers. You know.
I do the exact same.
I'm just like him.
And I'm not saying don't. I'm not saying don't do that. I'm just saying watch that, man. I'm just saying watch that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying don't do that because I bet you have gotten some insight through that. But look, I'm just saying watch that. I'm not saying don't do that. I'm just saying watch that.
Right.
Because I knew it. I knew you were just like me. I'm watching every person in the world, and the more messed up they are, don't get me started. The more messed up, I'm just like you, man. I totally understand. and maybe that's brought me insight. But look, I'm not saying don't do that. I'm just saying watch that. I knew it. Right. I knew you were just like me.
You know, and one more thing.
Which is just the same as everybody, by the way.
Yeah, it is. It is. So, but you know that the assignment for dropping your morals and values, right?
Mm-hmm.
When I heard that assignment, I immediately was like, I don't need to do anything because I don't see that I have morals and values to drop.
Okay.
So I heard your explanation of it. It was like it's more of a not trying to see things as good or bad. So that was different than hold up. I didn't see it that way.
Okay, yeah, let's back this up 1 second. When you heard drop morals and values, what'd you think it was?
I thought, I had answered the biblical question the week before that, and I had said that I think morals and values are the same thing as love. It's just another synonymous word for love, and it only comes from God, and I don't have it. I see the hatred in me. I have hate, so I definitely don't have morals and values.
Right.
I guess there's nothing for me to do for this homework assignment.
Right.
But then I heard your explanation. I'm like, oh, I was supposed to do that.
Yo,
oh, okay.
You stopped. You stopped at the intellect.
I stopped at the intellect.
The mind gave you a conclusion. That's the conclusion my mind gave me too, man. I got all sorts of pain too. At the beginning of the week, I had all sorts of pain and confusion that I didn't even want to think about anymore. I was like, how do you drop morals? What the heck is that? And I just kept sitting there like, and everybody looked like, and to me, it looks like everybody else is getting it. And I'm like, now I'm confused, and I don't want to think about this anymore. But I didn't do that either, and I just felt confused, and it hit me. It hit me. Oh my gosh, I'm being so overthinking about this. It just means stop. Just don't look at life as good and bad. And so that started a new journey. And I was like, whoa, now it's difficult to even do that.
Because I did have, that did cross my mind. And I thought the thoughts were telling, I ain't gonna lie, this weekend I kind of went down a rabbit hole with some of my vices, you know.
Don't put out too much of your personal stuff. But go ahead.
I ain't gonna tell what it is.
Go ahead.
I went a little down a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
And I said, you know what? I'm dropping my. I guess they finally did say to drop your more. I'm not going to judge myself for this, you know. But I'm gonna go down with. I'm gonna go a little hard on the vices this weekend and try to not judge myself. But I think even that was a lie too, because you know that the devil just wants me unconscious as much as possible, and it's kind of giving me an excuse, you know, to like drop. Oh, he said drop your morals and values. That means.
Are you judging yourself about that?
What?
Are you judging yourself about dropping your morals and thinking it was to go crazy and then go into your vices a bit?
Maybe a little bit.
Because think about it, man. If a truly insane person, and I'm not saying you're not insane, but I'm just saying, a truly insane person would have just been like, all right, sure, Jesse, let me drop my morals and go hella hard on the vices. They would have never came back. And I think you knew that's not what it was. And
I kind of knew.
And so even in that, there was some learning.
Yeah, it was. Because that's what the thoughts want.
Josh, we're the same, bro. And maybe I'm doing the same thing that I do with everybody. Oh, I'm the same. But look, dude, it's all a lie. It's a thought, man. It's a thought.
Yeah.
It's a thought. It's a thought. It's a thought. It's a whirlwind.
Yeah, it's deep, man. It's deeper than what I thought.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah.
But I appreciate you. Yeah,
I appreciate this call, man. Yeah, anything else you want to say? I don't know. Nothing else is coming to mind right now. Or I forgot everything you just said. But I didn't. Really? I didn't truly. But okay, anything else you want to say before we move the wheels, sir?
Nah, nothing at all, man. Good to go.
Call me again.
Will do, bro.
Nice. We're gonna keep it rocking and rolling. What else? Do I have any more show for you? I got all these calls I want to get to. We got to the grand conspiracy, right? I already told you about that. The true conspiracy. Because there's this crap about IUDs. What do you know about IUDs? The ladies at the scan were being gross this morning. And I ended up learning a lot more about IUDs than I thought I would have ever wanted to. And now you have to go through it. And I think you might find this fascinating. It's about pain. It's about... Maybe we can get to it here, but I've had some callers waiting quite a while. Let's do Steve, New Jersey. Sir, you're on the air.
Hey, how's it going, man?
All is well, Steve. Nice to hear from you. How you been?
I've been well. It's been a while, actually, since I've called you or listened to anything bond-related.
Glad to hear you. Glad to hear you. Oh, well, you haven't said that you're okay, but I hope you're well.
No, I'm doing well. I'm doing
nice.
well. Yeah.
Okay, good.
So, I mean, I'll tell you what really happened, because it kind of ties into what those two callers were just talking about. So,
please.
I'm kind of coming back to it, but what Jesse was saying about the whole dropping your morals and values thing. The past 2 months, I kind of did that, and I didn't do it like purposely, like, oh, I'm going to drop them and do it. My dad got sick, and then he went to the hospital, and then he passed away. And just when he went into the hospital, the day that he went, it was like something inside me said, "Turn off Bond, turn off this, stop doing that." Not like it definitely wasn't like the devil saying like, "Oh, turn away and do all that." It was just pay attention to what you're about to see within you, during that whole time.
Right.
And I learned during that whole time that, like, dude, most of the stuff that I thought I did or knew was all intellectual. Like, it really wasn't coming from the spirit. And it's crazy because I got to really see, in a way, where I stand,
I do. I don't know exactly, but I understand for some reason.
Yeah, because let's think about this. Like, when you probably first woke up, you were seeing all this stuff, and then you're like, this is bad. The mind still has this way of trying to still identify the good versus evil. And then, you start kind of getting an understanding of like what Jesse says, what the Bible says, you do that. And then, you hit the highs and lows, and then you hit a point where, all right, maybe I'm good. Maybe I've overcome all these things, and you just kind of coast. And then until something really comes along, like I was close to my dad, and his death really, I've made peace with it. I was at peace with it. I forgave him all that stuff. It's not like, like I had anger or resentment to him, but the loss of him hit me harder than I expected. And that's where I started to see all of this other stuff come up. And I'm like, hold on a second. No matter how much I listen to Bond or read the Bible or do anything, the only thing that's going to help me out through this is just by honestly letting it go and just by being aware of it. And so, what Jesse means about the whole morals and values stuff, like, I just dropped everything, said, let me not pretend to be somebody. Let me not pretend to be a Christian. Let me not do anything. And I just saw the fake me that was still there, that's really still there, and I can't do anything about it. And honestly, that gives me peace to know that, to recognize it, not let it come up and let it destroy me, but I can still live my life and move on. You know what I mean?
Thank you, Steve. I appreciate your attitude with what you're going through right now. I feel like I might be getting an example myself here a little bit. But 100%. Dropping everything.
Yeah, because I think
that's,
you got to drop
go ahead.
everything. No, sorry. There's a delay on this phone.
Big time. But go ahead, please. I'm totally following.
No, it's crazy because when people talk about like the pain that you're going through, and all the other stuff, like, yeah, it's there. I'm not going to deny it. I'm not going to also try and force it to go away because it just comes right back. And I think the thing is like with all this stuff, when people are looking for truth and they're always critically thinking and trying to find out conspiracies and everything else, like I just look around and I say, I think people are just making stuff so important to them that they can't really truly walk in consciousness. Like they can't walk in peace anyway, because they're trying to find some, like you were saying earlier before, they're trying to blame something. They're trying to do this. Like I could sit here and say, oh, God took my dad away. God did this. God did that, and blame him. But it's like, no, this is a natural part of life. He was sick. Can't do anything about it. He's gone. I'm so thankful I got to forgive him and spend the time I got to spend with him and reconnect with him in all these years. But I'm realizing the loss that's occurring is really, truly like an ego death of, what do I do now? Oh, I want to call him and do this, and, all those thoughts. And it does really keep, like, it fries your brain. It fries your senses. And I think a lot of people, when they look for truth, they're still wrapped up in emotions, and they just don't want to face that, and that's what I'm seeing about myself is I could sit here and say I'm fine about things that I've overcome it, or I could just say, all right, it's evil. It is what it is. I can't change it. Why not just give it up and just let God do what he needs to do? Like, why do I have to keep putting my own will into everything? You know what I mean?
Is that why it's bringing you peace?
Yeah. Like, to know that I can't do anything.
Damn. Folks, I think that's what that means. When people say I can't do anything, it's what Steve's talking about here. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's the simple part of it is, I can turning off everything for 2 months and not really paying attention to, anything Bond related. Like, this is not like a knock on you guys, but it's just I had to turn everything off to just see it and face it. And 100%. Then in doing that, it's like I see where I stand now. I have a clear understanding of where I'm at and how much, I thought, again, I was overcoming and doing, but how much of that really is just all intellectual ego. And I'm okay with that. Like, I'm really okay with knowing that that's where I'm at instead of trying to, get bent out of shape about it.
Thank you, Steve. I appreciate your attitude big time on this. Big time. Man, sorry to hear about your dad, but yeah, all that. Thank you.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously that was just a habit. Sorry about your dad. I know what's up. I know that was unnecessary, and you know that too.
No, that's fine.
Steve, I don't know what to say, man. It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it's just because it's like listening to those two calls. Because I was gonna call and talk about something else, which honestly, even that, like, it's just too intellectual. I don't even feel
Man,
like even asking.
are you feeling the same? Are you feeling the same fatigue a little bit as I? It's like
Yes.
I'm putting together this show and I'm going through the news, and then I'm like halfway through, and I'm just like, thoughts are lies, and I can't do the things I really want to do. And let's talk about that. Let's talk about this conspiracy. And I thank you for your call, because that's what I want to talk about.
Yeah, because that's exactly where I'm at too. You know, like even with stuff that's going on, like not to get too personal with like things that he left, but like my dad left some stuff that I have to take care of now. You know, do it. I was like, oh, this is good. I'm getting it. You know, everything makes sense. But then when he passed them, the thoughts that come in, and it's like no matter how much I read or try to do anything, nothing will change if I'm not present to what I'm doing and catching the thoughts of, you're never going to maintain this. You'll never be able to do this on your own. You're never going to be like him. You were you were nothing like him. So, like those thoughts, that to me is much more important and fruitful to be aware of than honestly all the other stuff that kind of goes on in the news. Like I can care less at this point.
Damn. Right on, Steve. Appreciate that, sir.
Yeah.
Anything else we could talk about before we move? Say again? I cut you off.
No, I said that's pretty much all I was going to say anyway.
Appreciate that, Steve. Nice to hear from you, sir. Call me again.
You got it, man. Thanks.
Folks, we'll let that one speak for itself. We need a shirt that says "Stay with it, stay with it, stay with it." That's what we need. We need the "Stay with it" merch. Stay with it. Beautiful. 888-775-3773. If you want to jump on the air there, I got another call I want to get to. I appreciate the patience. But I think I got to tell you about IUDs. I think I got to spend some time on this. Folks, am I streaming? Everything's looking good on my end. But YouTube is giving me a little error. You find this interesting, Bill? Your encoder is sending data faster than real time. How can you be faster than real time? How's that even possible, Bill? But it's real time. How can you be faster than real time? Are they in slip space? Are they in cyberspace? How do you go faster than real time? I need a smart person to describe that, to explain that one to me. Okay, we got to get to IUDs. Okay, why am I telling you about IUDs? Why am I telling you about female contraceptives? Maybe you didn't even know that's what it was. It's because the ladies at the Skim were being gross this morning. And I read the ladies at the Skim thanks to the Hake Report. And they, he showed me that the ladies at the Skim sometimes have their finger on the pulse of America. They're talking about women. And they are informing us that women are filming themselves while getting their coil fitted, which is a word to it's another word to describe an IUD. Okay, IUDs. Bill's looking at me like, why are you talking about IUDs? Please, Nick, where's this going? Women are going viral for sharing their IUD insertion stories. Intrauterine device. It's a contraceptive. Okay, it stops you from having babies. It prevents this from you contracting. No, okay. So that's what's going on, and women are filming themselves getting it. Okay, and it's very painful. They say it's very painful. They're saying it's very, very painful, and they want the world to know. Multiple women have recorded themselves during their intrauterine device insertion. And look, as I continue here with this story, I may not have the same filters that most people have. So if you find this kind of, I'm not being graphic, I don't think, but if you find this gross, let me know. I'll maybe clean up a bit. I may not have the same filters that some might have. I had sisters. I go in the woman. They stopped the pregnancies, and they're posting their pained reaction videos on TikTok. And the ladies at the Skim want us to know an IUD is a safe and effective form of long-term birth control. Safe and effective. Safe and effective. You always hear that. Everything's safe and effective now. and it is inserted into the uterus, okay? The procedure and recovery can sometimes be uncomfortable and painful. Now, more women are opting for IUDs and speaking about the insufficient range of options provided to address their pain. This is more of that misogynist healthcare. They don't even have enough options for the ladies' pain. Don't you know their pain? In fact, when researchers at Duke looked at the top TikTok videos that mentioned hashtag IUD, most of them focused on the pain patients felt during and after the procedure. You know, jokes aside, the ladies at the Skim or the ladies, or maybe the lady researchers at Duke University, that's actually kind of I think an interesting way of gathering research data. Search it on TikTok. I bet you a lot of people don't even think like that. Researchers and data analysts and city planners and government people, some names that come to mind. Most of them focused on the pain patients felt. According to the Washington Post, those videos are reigniting the conversation about how women's concerns and pain are often dismissed. Now you see where this is going. It's gynocracy. It's gynocentrism. It's the female is future. It's all that, okay? You know that's what this is about. That's why they're bringing this up. Female pain, if female pain makes the headlines, you better, betas and simps everywhere better be, oh, what's coming down the pipeline? What are they going to make me do next? Because you know what's coming next is a prescription for men. Wait, women have had to go through all this pain? It's time to flip it. In 2021, Dr. Diana Mansour commented on this issue when she was vice president of the Faculty of Sexual and Reproductive Health Care. I offer pain relief before and, when necessary, during an IUD replacement, some female doctors talking about. I let the women know they are in control during the procedure, and at any point, additional pain relief can be given or other options explored, such as having the IUD fitted under conscious sedation, etc. Not all clinics offer local anesthesia, but I want my patients to know they are in control during the procedure. And I zeroed in on those comments because, I just found them interesting. It reminded me of my recent dentist appointment. And, you know, the anchor baby is getting himself Hollywood ready. Thanks to all of you. It's also for all of you. So, anyways, I'm getting Hollywood ready. The anchor baby's getting his teeth cleaned. His life's in order. His teeth is getting cleaned. Life's amazing. And I remember they gave me some local anesthesia. They gave me some of that lidocaine right in that train. My mouth was all numb. But they were digging in there and getting rid of all the tartar. And even with anesthesia, it's like they're digging in there. It's like, dang. I didn't wince. I didn't do any such thing. I didn't even cry. I was tough. The lady even asked me, are you okay? You know, you can have more pain relief if you want. You don't have to go through this, she told me. You don't have to be in any discomfort, she told me. It's not something you have to do. You do not have to be in discomfort. I thought to myself, discomfort. It's a little gum digging. I feel a little pain, and it's making my hands go like this a little bit when you get into certain parts, but I'll be just fine, is what I told the hygienist. I'll be just fine. You just keep going. I'm fine. And then I really was. But I found that interesting. You don't have to be in any discomfort. You don't have to be in any pain. Don't you know this? And I wonder if that's a more modern, I just wonder if that's a modern philosophy in medicine. I know that it's do as little harm as, I forget what they say, but doctors their oath is to do no harm, right? But pain isn't going to kill you. And pain was sometimes necessary. Even imagine before you had things like opiates, painkillers. The pain is something you're going to go through. You have to go through to get better, right? And I just wonder if that's like a modern philosophy. You don't have to go through any pain. Because I'm reading this article here from Elle describing this doctor who lets her women know that they don't have to go through any pain. You're in complete control. Don't you know you're in complete control? Another lie, maybe? So I'm reading about IUDs. You're wondering, why is Nick talking about IUDs? Because I read this article from Elle. And I'm reading it, and it starts off, warning, this article features footage of women filming their reactions during IUD fittings that some readers may find uncomfortable. Well, thanks, Elle. I appreciate that. A little trigger warning? I didn't think I would have needed one of those in my lifetime. Hey, Bill, you might find this. Sorry, folks. Allow me to talk to Bill the engineer a moment. I'm talking in the mic, and suddenly I can hear myself better. Something changed. I mean, this is positive. So that's good. I don't know if you were doing something, but it's good. If you were doing something, great. Sorry, folks. IUD insertion is the worst pain imaginable, writes this article. That's the caption of the TikTok video that shows a user experiencing the fitting of her intrauterine device. Worst pain imaginable. Okay, hold on. Hey, hold on. Using my imagination here, right, Bill? I'm sure I could imagine, I don't know, I'm sure I could imagine so much worse. I can right now imagine horrific things that are worse pains that I could imagine of I don't know, the insertion of an IUD. I mean, I don't have one of those things, so I wouldn't know, maybe. But look, where was I? Look, I'm talking about IUDs. They're saying it's the worst pain imaginable. I can imagine maybe worse things. But on this topic of pain, I remember reading this and thinking, oh man, they're going to make fun of me for talking about this. But that was just a thought. But look, hey, I only have so much time in the mornings and I'm putting together a show. I read an IUD article. That's what you guys are getting, okay? That's what you guys are getting. And so I'm reading it, and I'm thinking to myself, worst pain imaginable. That's worst pains. Women are so dramatic. And that's true, but I'm just trying to point out how pain really is just pain. And looking at someone else and thinking it's worse or less helps nobody. Doesn't help you, it doesn't help anybody else. If anything, the pain that everyone goes through is the same. And we all got to go through it. Okay, anyways. What else did I want to say about this? It is interesting, though, to see women make pains worse than they are. And thank you. It is interesting to see women make pains worse than they are, right? Way bigger than exaggerate things. And yet at the same time, that makes pains less, which actually makes pains worse. Follow me. You exaggerate a pain. Oh, this IUD device is it's the worst thing. Women got to go through such horrible things. And now everyone's hearing you go through this exaggerated pain, which you've now exaggerated in your mind. And so now you've made it worse. Everybody can hear you go through the pain. Now you feel better. Now you feel better because everybody can see and hear you go through this horrible pain. And look how bad it is because you said it was so bad. And in that moment, and now you have relief. And now that pain, which you've made bigger, is now actually a lot less. But don't you see that by soothing and getting that relief, that false relief from the world, you've actually made the pain way bigger because you didn't overcome it. So now what's coming down, now you're not ready for what's coming. Now you're not prepared for what's coming down the road. Anyways. Pain, a little bit about pain. They say the ladies can handle so much pain. You know what else I was thinking about? The uterus is like the stomach. Didn't Jesus say that food passes through your stomach and out of you? It doesn't go in you, and so it can't make you unclean. And so that and he said the only unclean things come from within you. And so didn't Jesus say food passes through the stomach and out of you, so it doesn't go in you? So too does a baby. A baby grows in the womb and then goes out. It's not you. It's not your body. And no, you don't get to kill them in the womb. Do you see what I'm saying here? You're not your womb. You're not your stomach. The sperm enters the womb, makes the baby, and the baby comes out. The food enters the mouth, into the stomach, and leaves the body. It doesn't go in you. It's not your choice. Just like Jesus said. Anyways, something I was thinking about. What else was I thinking about? They say it's so delicate. They say, I'm done with this. After this, I'm done. They say it's so delicate, but it's, ladies, I don't know. They say it's so, I see doctors they're taking power tools to this thing. They're going, like, I don't know, ladies. Anyways, we're done with that topic, I think. IUDs and pain. Another thing. No, we're not done. We're not done with IUDs. I'm almost done. What about when the IUD eventually fails? Because you read about these things, they fail. They say they work really well, I'm sure. And in fact, they work for months. In fact, even years. Some of these IUDs keep you from having babies for a decade. Some of them last as long as 10 years. Think about this for a second. In those 10 years, something can go wrong. Well, that's why you need abortion. Just in case the IUDs don't work. Okay, hold on. You're going to learn more about IUDs in a moment here. You're going to have to sit through this. More IUD info coming your way. Because invariably on this topic, as a ignorant male, as an ignorant boy, eventually you wonder, well, how does this thing actually work? Wait, hold up. How does this thing actually work? You know what I mean? How does this thing actually prevent babies? So what an IUD is this T-shaped looking plastic thing. Shall I just show you a picture? Don't worry. I'm not going to show you before I look at it. IUD. It's a T-shaped plastic looking thing, and it goes in there and it's okay. Let me take you through the steps I went through. I'm wondering, as an ignorant boy, how does this work? So I type in Google, how do IUDs prevent pregnancy? My first hit. This was my first hit. This was my first hit right here. And it was, personally speaking, I found it a little strange that, it's teens health. This is kidshealth.org. This is kidshealth.org, and this is under teens health. Okay. I ask, how does an IUD work? My first website here tells me the copper-coated IUD prevents pregnancy by not allowing the sperm to fertilize the egg. It may also make it harder for a fertilized egg to implant the uterus. And I'm like, okay, well, that doesn't really explain it, though. That just tells me what it says on the box. That's what it's going to do, but how? How does it actually do it? So you look up. You end up learning, there's two types of IUDs. There's a copper-coated one and one that's coated in hormones. Okay. So this doesn't really tell me. I go to my second hit. And I learn, and I ask this website. I ask PlannedParenthood.org. And Planned Parenthood tells me about an IUD, what does it do, what are the types of IUDs. But this one, too, does not tell me exactly, when the rubber meets the road, how is this plastic copper implement stopping a sperm fertilizing an egg? So finally, I go to a third website. I go to a third very fancy medical website, clevelandclinic.org. They finally tell me how this works. When we get to the section on how do IUDs work, I was shocked. All IUDs trigger an immune response. Your body recognizes an IUD as an invader and springs into action to defend itself. This process results in inflammation. Inflammation in your uterus creates an environment that's toxic to sperm. As a result, sperm can't reach your fallopian tubes to fertilize an egg. That's what's going on, ladies. You're taking the hell out of your inside of you and putting it in your thing. I'm sorry. I know the sun is still out, but it's inflammation. Your body is having an inflammatory response to all this. So that's how this works. A mistake. something that shouldn't be happening. But hey, to the medical world, and really, let's be real too, humanity, that's all within acceptable levels as long as I get what I want, right? As long as I get get what I want, which is a way to shirk responsibility and other things, right? That's kind of how I see it, folks. So that's what I was thinking about. That's the IUD story. What else? You know, they say, oh, this is what I meant earlier about pain in women. When the headlines start coming out, all these women are going through pain, get ready for the prescription for men. And when it comes, don't do it. And that's why this is maybe exaggerated. And that's why, ladies, because of all the pain you've had to go through, and you got to go through IUDs and all this stuff for men, that's why we now decree all boys, when they're born, get an instant vasectomy. And then they have to go through a test to undo the vasectomy to get licensed to have children. That's an exaggeration, but maybe you see where I'm going with this, the point I'm making. All right, I think that's the IUD story. Let's go. We're done. Let's get to some callers. Appreciate the patience. We got Steve, Ohio. You're on the air.
Nick, what's up, man?
How you doing, sir?
Very well, sir. How are you?
Thank you. All is well.
Man, that was deep. That whole IUD, is that what it's called?
Yeah. You found that somewhat deep?
No, honestly, yeah. Because, I mean, Satan will use your ego no matter what and keep tempting you with stuff to keep killing yourself. It's just astounding.
Interesting. Yeah, truly.
Hey, real quick, man, I wanted to give a shout-out to Big Artie Art joining Ankle Baby Airlines last Friday.
Yeah, that was cool. Artie Art, baby, called my show on Friday, and it was nice to hear Art is still rolling with Trump.
Yeah, man, that was cool. I was like, no way, dude, it's Artie Art.
Nice.
Yeah,
Thanks for tuning in Friday, by the way.
Yeah, I can when I can, man. I don't like heights. You know how that goes.
Thank you, sir.
I spent most of the time in the bathroom. I mean, you know, while we were on the plane, it was okay,
oh, yeah.
though.
Yeah, totally. Thank you for that.
I just can't look out the windows, you know?
I appreciate it when people play along.
Yeah. Hey, so, dude, all right, Bond's been on fire all day. All the shows except Joel. I haven't seen Joel's because I don't like YouTube. I'm sorry, bud.
Oh, get Joel on Rumble. But if you get a chance to go on YouTube, check it out. He's talking about Easter and his story, man. Made me think about some things.
Hey, but no, all day throughout, you, Hake, and JLP, man, you guys have been crushing it.
Thank you, sir.
And a big part of this conversation you've been having was the bottom line, thoughts are all lies, right?
Truly.
Did you happen to see Revolver?
I did.
Man,
I saw
what
Revolver.
did you think?
I actually really liked that movie. And I said I really liked it.
Oh,
and I think I've only ever seen one other. It's Guy Ritchie, no?
Oh, Guy Ritchie. He's probably my fave.
I think I saw maybe a bit of another Guy Ritchie film, and when I saw Revolver, I saw why people call it like a Guy Ritchie film or something. And I love the style. I'm talking about it just cinematically, you know, right now, but yeah, the style, like I personally, I found it very enjoyable. Like I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And I hear that's how Guy Ritchie's movies are.
Yeah. So how many times did you watch it by chance?
I've seen it once.
Okay. The second time, man, is so much better. You'll catch a lot more. Oh yeah, that's what I thought. You know, I watched it yesterday.
I might have to. I'd love to see Jesse talk to Guy Ritchie and ask him some questions about that. But what'd you see second time around? Go ahead.
Well, like the big quote that Avi was giving Jake. He's like, "There's no good and bad, Mr. Green. Only situations."
Damn.
And I was like, whoa. And then all this, what you guys are talking about today, I'm like, you know, I really needed to hear that because I always impose my ego reflection and take a side when anytime I don't take a side, I feel nothing about it. Yeah. And like you said, I can just keep creating the issue, and until you actually overcome it, you're just going to make it bigger and keep pushing it under the rug. So that hit me pretty heavy.
So true, man. Yeah. And so you said, could you speak more on that? You said on imposing like that and what the movie made you see?
Well,
Because I think I'm following. It makes sense to me.
Well, how you said you got like the news fatigue and all, dude, we're all feeling that. We're like, just come on with the BS, bro. Like,
yeah.
So, that's also a thing is, you know, we're listening to two different propagandas, and they want you to pick a side. And Jesse's like, just don't take a side. And like, you're like, man, I know it sounds great, but every time I still pick a side. Until like what Steve from New Jersey was saying, like, hey, man, I need to just back off and see it for myself for a minute. And there was another part in that movie where he's like, the two guys were going to break him out of jail with him. And it turned out to be those guys later that he was learning from. And he's like, we were always going to take you with us, Mr. Green, but you just weren't ready for what we were going to show you yet.
Yeah.
And I'm like, whoa, yeah, it's just sometimes we're just not ready at that point. We got to wait a little bit.
Yeah, well, that's why we got to show ourselves patience, and we don't do that. But that's why I appreciated Steve's call too. Kind of reminded me that, because that's what I meant by that these thoughts, man. I'm laughing because we were saying the same thing, but it's these dang thoughts, man. It's just a thought.
I know, dang old thoughts, man. Like, but so I've been thinking about that quote all day today. It's like, okay, there's no good and bad, Mr. Green, just situations. And every time, like, the not me was saying that to myself, I felt better, but I need to just not listen to that little voice in my head, because he's your best friend, you know? And he's hiding in himself, so you'll never see him until you see him. It's just so crazy, you know? But you still listen to the guy because he sounds like you.
Yes.
I know, and that's what I'm dealing with. I mean, maybe if I can get like a voice changer on him, I might not listen to him as much.
Yeah, you know, someone said, a caller on Jesse's show said, I think Jesse asked the caller, he asked the caller, what is Satan doing in your head? Is he yelling at you saying, talk to me, listen to me? And I thought to myself, if Satan yelled at me like that in my head, I might wake up all the way. You know what I mean? Because then you would be, you can't help but see him at that point, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's why he's sneaky, though.
Yeah, like there was a part where Avi hears something Jake's saying, and he responds out loud, and then, you know, Jake looks at him like, oh, you can hear my thoughts. It's like, yeah, if Satan did something like that, I would instant wake up.
Totally.
But
isn't that interesting, though, how you agree, you share the same experience where we found it somewhat difficult to drop morals?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's
can you elaborate on that?
Because you said a moment ago, it sounded like you were saying that you hear about dropping thoughts, but you also find that difficult. Like, it's not something you could just do. Isn't that proof? It's like the proof that we really are possessed.
Yeah, and you can't do it alone, so you have to let God take care of it, and you just got to get out of His way. It's hard, though, because we all think we're something, but we're just here, man.
Steve, sir, anything else you want to say before we move the wheels here?
No, I didn't mean to beat a gift horse in the mouth while
you did
said
not.
And all, but
no, you did not. I'm doing some. I don't know. I'm keeping it all showy. Keeping it moving.
You're killing it.
Thank you, sir.
Boss.
Call me again.
God bless.
And because I see it's 1:51, and we got one call left, I think, before we end the show. Theresa, Texas, on the air. Appreciate your call.
Hey.
How you doing, Theresa?
I see you have 8 minutes left, so I'll be
as
brief as possible.
Nice to hear from you.
Oh, thank you. Now, I was just going to talk about the IUD thing real quick. I have firsthand knowledge.
You have firsthand knowledge of what?
Having an IUD.
Oh, go ahead.
And it messed
I didn't
me
expect that,
up.
Teresa. I didn't expect a caller to call in about that. That's why I reacted like that. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I was like, why?
No, I don't know. I guess I should have expected it. I was talking about it, but go ahead.
But no, I had one, and basically, I'll just break it down in layman's term. It's a monthly abortion.
Dang.
If you get pregnant. But it kind of does it. It messes up a woman's body. They don't tell you that at all.
Mm-hmm.
And I ended up with what they call endometriosis.
Mm.
and they had to go in and remove my uterus because of it.
Oh, is that like an infection? Osis. Osis is like a...
Endometriosis. It's like because it messes with the endometrium tissue, because that's what prevents the baby from, the baby, the embryo attaches to the endometrium tissue. Thus, you don't get, you don't have a period anymore.
Wow.
When you're pregnant. But it messed me up so bad that the bleeding just kept happening, and it falls into your body, like all around your organs and everything. So every month, that endometrium tissue bleeds. So it causes like a horrible scar tissue.
Horrible. And it's crazy because I'm reading articles about this. The Skin posts this, and they
don't tell you that. Like the reason
in fact,
why
they tell you it's safe and effective. They tell you it's totally safe.
Oh no, it's not. Because most women turn to that because they want to get off chemical birth control.
Right.
And it's like, oh, well, you're not taking a chemical no more. No, you're putting a foreign body in your body that's not supposed to be there.
Right.
And they don't tell you that.
Fascinating. Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, they don't care about women.
Right, and that's another thing too. They do this thing where it's like, oh, we're doing this because we care about women. You're so right. They do not care. The women themselves don't care. No, you're right. They do not care.
It's the females, especially the female doctors, that toot that horn. They don't tell you about the repercussions.
And even though they'll point to like a statistic that says the overwhelming majority of people have no problems, they hide that this copper stuff in there, what it's doing is inflaming you, which is an immunological response. It's something negative. And so even if you point to me a stat that says, oh, well, look, 90% of IUDs are totally fine. They have no problems. Well, guess what? 100% of patients with the IUD are inflamed. So I don't know what to tell you, doctors.
You're toxic.
Yeah. Fascinating. That's horrible, Theresa, but I'm remembering now a little bit of our conversation previously on this.
I mean, like at 22 years old, I had a full hysterectomy.
Yeah, I remember somewhat of you telling me, actually.
And it was so bad. Like the pain was so bad, all the problems that I was having, and everything like that. The hysterectomy was the only thing that like alleviated all that.
I understand.
But if I would have known back then, I don't want to have a full hysterectomy at 22 years old.
Right. Yeah, and the raising and the culture and our own desires.
That's even done wrong too. That's really done wrong too, because that's where the woman's hormones is located, is all in that in all those tissues, all that organ.
No, I'm following.
And so when you take that away, you're taking away the most important part, not saying that I'm not a woman anymore.
No, but I understand what that word means. I know what a history. Yeah, I'm following completely. And I'm remembering, I think you did tell me this some time ago.
Yeah,
briefly.
But they lied about all that. It's like they won't have us on there, as people that went through that, because I got it real young. I got the IUD real young.
Crazy.
And they didn't.
And they got these articles saying it's safe and effective, da-da-da. And here's what's crazy about it. Another part that gets me is you got the skim, and they're all saying, oh, this brings attention to the pain that women are going through. But then I look it up, and it's less than 1% of women are even using these things. Why are they trying to push it so much? I don't understand.
Now they're trying to push it.
For money, I imagine, but why else?
Because women are getting hip to this, I don't want to take chemicals.
Gotcha. Oh.
And so, do you understand?
I'm following. They're getting hip to that.
You don't want to use this? Well, use this device.
Right.
There's no chemicals.
And you keep them paying.
Yep. And it's real expensive to put one of those in, but they tell you this too. Well, you're paying this and you're paying so much a month for birth control, and stuff like that. Well, this, you're just having one payment. that they don't tell you that the media, they don't tell you about the complications.
Can I ask you one last thing?
Yeah.
You called it a monthly abortion. Why is that?
It is because if you get pregnant, like if the egg is fertilized, if you have sex and the egg is fertilized, if it's meant for you to get pregnant, God put that there. You know what I'm saying? It's a monthly, but with that device
I'm following.
there,
Like you can still the function of an egg being fertilized can still happen, but this IUD actually prevents or stops that after that has happened. So feasibly you can
attach because it's already into the lining.
So feasibly, what can be going on here is a man and a woman are having intercourse and fertilize the egg, but then afterwards, that fertilized egg is not allowed to do what it's supposed to do.
Yeah, because she's just going to have, it's going to be just like the monthly bleed that she gets anyway.
Well, folks,
You know
I think
what I'm
that's
saying? It's
I think
not
that's
gonna be a
as
fertilized egg.
I think that's as graphic as we can get for today's show while the sun is still up. I do appreciate your call, Theresa. Thank you for that.
Right. I tried to stay as medical.
No, you totally did. I'm messing
talking as
around.
I could.
I'm just
Okay.
messing around. The topic itself might make some people uncomfortable. But Theresa, call me again.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye now. And that's the show, folks. Yep, that's the show. Let me check. You know what I didn't do the whole show? You know what I didn't do the whole darn show? And I sorry, super chatters and coffee buyers, if you did that, I appreciate it. Let me get to all that right away before we end the show here. Because we had some coffee buyers who bought coffees for the Anchor Baby here. In fact, this was from Friday. So my apologies, Carver. You bought me a coffee on Friday. We ended the show there. And I must have missed it. You know, we were talking about Candace Owens a little bit, Ben Shapiro. And your coffee reads, word around the water cooler is Candace was charging a lot of lunches to the company account as work-related, and Ben got upset about it. Apparently, he has this thing about paying for other people's lunches. It's come up before. P.S. I hear she is making money selling T-shirts. Maybe you should get in on that racket. I appreciate your coffee big time, Carver. Cracking me up, sir. And we got some super chats. Hold up. Kale Samogi, appreciate your super chat. Reads, if you are aware, it's impossible not to see a thought. The more you are willing to die, the more aware you will be. Thank you, Kale. Something tells me, deep inside, tells me that is true. So I'm not giving up. And a life without thinking may just be in my future. It's amazing. Prep Ham Paul, thank you for your super chats there. Says, just wanted to help the Anchor Baby buy an extra small fry at McDonald's with the new $20 an hour minimum wage in Cali. I heard about that. Thank you for your super chat, Prep Ham Paul. I got to check one final thing here, and then we can say goodbye. Because I am streaming on rumble.com/American Anchor Baby. So if you ever wanted to watch on Rumble, you can. And I appreciate it. Folks, that's the show. That's it from me. I shall see y'all tomorrow for more American Anchor Baby. That's American Anchor Baby at noon. So you want to like and subscribe and do your thing. So you see me tomorrow. Jesse Lee Peterson, 6 a.m. tomorrow, as we do Country Western Tuesday. And Hake Report, Joel Friday, and Anchor Baby. Appreciate it, folks. Catch you tomorrow. Take care.